Hey guys, Kim Stallings, Heritage Risk Advisors, back with another exciting insurance module. We're going to talk in this particular module about umbrellas or excess policies. So let's get the definition straight first. An umbrella would have you believe that that's insurance that kind of stands over everything and shields everything in place. A lot of people kind of misnomer it and they think that a commercial package policy for putting multiple dwellings on one schedule is an umbrella. It's not. An umbrella is a very specific thing, and it's really specialized to the personal lines world of insurance. That's your home, your auto, your toys, your car. So let's talk about that umbrella first, what most people consider an umbrella. When you have maybe a really nice house and maybe a landlord property or two and maybe a boat, maybe a motorcycle and a couple of cars and some kids, you might be told, I need a landlord policy or an umbrella for my landlord policy or an umbrella for my homeowners, an umbrella for my auto. And you're wondering, what is that? It's an extension of your existing general liability. So general liability is the third-party property damage and bodily injury that you might cause somebody else to have. Maybe you whack them in your car, maybe you whack them in a motorcycle, maybe your house explodes and it catches the house next door on fire and it's your fault, okay, because your house exploded first. Maybe your kids did something silly, hurt another kid, who knows. All of those are third-party issues. So if you have a lot of different property, if you have multiple landlord policies, if you've got 3, 4, 5 cars, if you've got teenagers driving cars, if you're driving really expensive cars and you're always on the road for work, traversing busy roadways, if you've got motorcycles and toys and things like that, do you have a lot at risk? Possibly yes. Could you exhaust your underlying liability limits? That's that $300,000 or $500,000 or $100,000 general liability or personal liability line item on your quote. Yeah, you could exhaust that real quick, especially when it comes to auto. So in those instances, maybe it makes sense for you to have a $1 million umbrella that sits on top of and attaches to your existing general liability, making an umbrella. And you can add your other things underneath it, your boats and your cars and your other houses, etc., all underneath that personal lines umbrella. And yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. They sell them in increments of $1 million, $2 million, $10 million, as much as you want. And how much you need really depends on how much you have at risk. So definitely talk to your agent about if an umbrella for your personal lines is an important thing for you to have. How likely are you to be at risk of needing to exceed your underlying general liability limits and maybe have an insurance claim that would dip into needing excess limits? That leads us into what excess general liability is, which is really what you're looking for. You're looking to extend your existing general liability, to lengthen and broaden what it covers and how high those limits are. In the commercial insurance world, which you might have your investment properties on a commercial package policy, if you've got more than 6 or 8 or 10 properties, or if the value of your properties is really high and we're exceeding $1 million in coverage, you might definitely want to have an umbrella or some excess general liability to add on top of it. Some lenders require it. If you're buying an apartment complex or maybe an office building, you might have to buy excess general liability because maybe it's 3 stories high and Lord forbid somebody fall off that balcony. They might not be walking away and their family's going to want to get recompensed for Susie's broken neck or broken leg because she can't work anymore. So you're going to exhaust your underlying limits. I don't even want to talk about the hideous claims that I've had where we've had to exhaust the underlying limits and go to these big, deep umbrella limits. So there's lots of different reasons that you might want to extend your third-party liability. And it's really important to just kind of talk to your agent about your risk level, your risk comfort, and your risk tolerance to see where you fall in the umbrella or excess liability game. That's probably the best I can do for you on that one. It's a conversation that needs to be had to see where you fall. Just because it's an excess policy doesn't mean that it's extraordinarily expensive. It's a really good way to cover risk at a really nominal fee, and realize in the personal world it all ties to your auto insurance. So if your insurance agent asks you on your landlord portfolio to give you their auto insurance and you're thinking, I don't know how these two things go together, remember, you're more likely to exceed your limits on a claim for your car, for an auto incident and a multi-car collision on an 80-mile-an-hour highway with kids driving than you are to exceed your underlying limits for maybe a house burning down and somebody passing away that way. That's why they're always asking for that question. So don't be shocked if it seems weird, if it doesn't seem right. There's a reason behind it. Actuaries are very smart people. So that's a little bit about umbrellas and about excess liability and why they're important. Definitely talk to your agent, see what your risk is, make it an open conversation. I'm Kim Stallings from Heritage Risk Advisors. I hope you learned something there. We'll see you in the next module.